Welcome, everyone. This is Liz from Knowledge Return, where we talk about energy and spirituality as a part of our normal everyday experience. And we share and reflect on our life stories, spiritual journey, and topics to help us learn better about who we are. There are times in our lives where we need to slow down and reflect on our life's choices and decisions, our actions, and the direction we want to take. However, we always find a way to be on the move and go from one thing to the next, regardless if that thing helps us. Some of us find a need to always be busy as a way of being needed. Some of us overextend ourselves out of fear of being left out or not being liked. Some of us are running frantically from one thing to the next because we find it as a way to support ourselves. Whatever the reason that we give for not resting, we will give it. Rarely do we understand that by simply resting, clearing our mind, reflecting on our thoughts and actions, that we may be able to find a way to do the things we want without burnout. Because most of us are running toward burnout. The universe is a funny character in our lives. It has a way to make us slow down and self-reflect when our soul demands it. Sometimes these slow down moments look like obstacles and challenges. Sometimes they look like tragedy. Just so you know, I'm sure the universe has been trying to get you to slow down with little nudges over here, little nudges over there. But we were just too busy to see and understand. Those little nudges may have come in a form of warnings about our health. Some come as small offenses from our partners, families, friends, or co-workers that let us know something was not right to the point we needed to evaluate those relationships. We often overlook the smaller nudges because we have been indoctrinated to believe that we are supposed to struggle and work hard in everything we do. And if we don't, we won't get what we want. And it's because we didn't struggle and work hard enough. That includes overlooking our own well-being over another. So the universe has no choice but to slow us down with a little force that may look like big challenges, obstacles, and tragedies. I titled this conversation, Heal and Heal. Heal in the context is typically used as a command to animals to slow down and walk near their handler or trainer. Although we're not dogs or horses, we are being asked to slow down and walk in spirit. We are being asked to slow down our physical being and walk in spirit for a moment. Why? So that we can better align with our purpose, goals, wants, and needs. Too often we are chasing things that society says we must chase, regardless if it's not the thing that we want. It's just something that we do when we become a certain age, and we do that thing. We don't do enough self-reflection and evaluation to consider the thing that we feel, what we want to do, and that fulfills us and makes us happy. We do things right now because society, our parents, our peers have nudged us in a direction that keeps us on a wheel and cycle of struggle and challenges. I don't want to downplay our struggles and challenges. There is healing if we are able to reflect on our struggles and challenges. So all is not useless, but we just don't get that time to slow down and heal. We just move from struggle to struggle and challenge to challenge without learning lessons in between to better understand the situation we find ourselves in. So when the earth shaking struggle or challenge or tragedy comes in, the universe is saying, slow down. Let's talk. Let's reconnect. Everything will be okay, but we need to talk. This is the time that the universe wants you to review your life, review your decisions and choices. This is the time the universe is saying, I love you. I support you. I'm here for you. Just quiet your mind and hear my whispers of guidance. There are lessons to learn in all we do and experience if we're open to receive and understand. In the end, we don't have to live our lives running on a hamster wheel, going from one thing to another. We don't have to struggle to get the things we want and need. However, we do need to slow down, reconnect with our inner guiding, loving voice, our spirit, not our ego, and evaluate our choices and decisions. After we slow down, we need to do that self-reflection and evaluation. We need to understand why we do what we do. We really need to question our life. Are we doing the things that bring us joy and fulfillment? If not, why not? And then how can we do those things that bring us joy and experience a prosperous life? Are we taking care of ourselves? Not only taking care of our body, but our mind and our emotions. If not, why not? Are we taking on too much without asking for help? Have we considered an easier way to do things? Have we considered letting something go that truly does not make us happy? One of the biggest things I had to do when reevaluating my own life was to let some things go. I began to pull back on the things I did for people, especially when I realized that when I was working with these people, they never did their portion of the work. They relied on me to do the things, even their portion. I had to understand that type of interaction was taking a toll on me. When I pulled back my support of others, I then had time to work on the things that fulfilled me. I also began to evaluate my relationships, be it partners, families, friends, and colleagues. When I was able to slow down, I began to see which relationships mutually supported each other and which ones were one-sided, skewing heavy on my part of doing more and feeling depleted, and which ones were outright draining and toxic. When I pulled back from the non-supporting and completely draining relationships, I felt an overall improvement to my body, emotions, and thoughts. I realized that I really didn't need to be in a stressful and challenging situation. Now, this did mean that I was pushing back from the norm on what society expected of interacting with people where we normalize struggle and challenges as okay. I basically said, I'm not okay with relationships being a struggle. And I chose not to interact with people too long or at all who took me out of my peaceful state of mind. This also led me to evaluate my family and work life to determine if I'm doing things just to do them and not being happy at all. Now, when you talk to people about your thoughts and needs and they push back attempt to manipulate, control, or coerce you to do something that keeps you in an unfulfilled state, you do have to step back and question, am I doing this for them or for me? How am I benefiting from this situation? This is not about seeing how you can get over or manipulate. This is about re-evaluating in order to get back in alignment with what you really want, need, and desire. In evaluating my own life and reconnecting with my inner self, my inner guidance, I began to see people in situations in a different way. I began to see people in situations that supported me and people in situations that were my obstacles and challenge. I began to see very challenging and tragic events as a way to wake up and take notice of my choices and decisions. As I began to heal, I began to understand the importance of that loving, supportive inner guidance. I began to love it because it guided me through what could have been challenges that kept me stuck for so long. It was supportive and cheered my accomplishments, even when I didn't receive any from my outside people, my outside world. It showed me the path to easy when I could have drained my energy and fried my brain trying to find a solution. The challenge, struggle, or tragedy slowed me down and enabled me to reconnect with myself. In reconnecting with myself, I began to heal. In healing, I began to show up in a way that was fulfilling for me. I was able to step off of the hamster wheel of struggle and challenge and witness and experience life as a lesson, as easy and satisfying. So when you are faced with a challenging situation, take the time to heal. HEEL, slow down. And heal. HEAL. Reconnect, reflect, and love yourself.